everyone, welcome back to Danina Farms, where we talk about homesteading, homemaking, and homeschooling. Today I have a homeschool video for you. We're going to talk about why we homeschool while I fold the laundry. So if that's something you're interested, stay tuned. So I've gotten a lot of questions here lately, just from friends and family and on social media about homeschooling, how to get started, why do you do it, how do you organize, what curriculum do you use, blah, 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 on and on and on. And I've seen that there are a lot of families that are in this decision-making mode of trying to figure out what they want to do school-wise with their kids this fall. Y'all know that the world that we live in right now, with the public school situation at the end of this past school year and moving forward, I feel like a lot of parents are considering homeschooling. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about why we homeschool, why we started, and just kind of walk you through that so you can kind of understand a little more about our family and why we chose to homeschool. So for the most part, I say most part because I got scared one year and I sent our oldest to pre-K. So we have homeschooled. I tried to homeschool preschool, and then we sent him to pre-K, and then he has been home ever since. So he did kindergarten, first grade, and second grade here. And then we have, as the other kids have fallen in, they have just done school with him. We have 4 kids total, if you haven't picked up on that yet. But anyway, so why do we homeschool? One of the reasons why we homeschool is because we feel like we were led to homeschool, or we were called by God to homeschool. Even from like the very beginning, early on in our marriage, I feel like it was laid on both mine and my husband's heart to homeschool and have our kids at home with us. I knew that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Yes, I do have a degree in teaching. It's actually agriculture education, but hey, it's a degree in teaching. But you do not need that. I'm going to preface this with that. You do not need a teaching degree to teach your kids. But I knew very young that I wanted to do that, and I wanted to be at home with my kids and be very hands-on. I didn't want somebody else raising them, and I wanted to do the mothering myself and not have them away from me or my husband all day long. And we only see them for a few short hours at the end of the day. But so after a lot of prayer and just feeling like we were led to do it, we were influenced by some homeschool families that we went to church with when we were younger. And I just loved the dynamic of their families, just watching them from afar. So that kind of led into our decision, and we wanted that family dynamic that those families have, of their families being really close and just being friends and just doing kind of everything together. We also wanted to give our kids a firm foundation. So we wanted to be able to influence them as they're young into doing what they need to do. As far as like, we wanted to control what they were being taught. And I know some people may be thinking, well, that's too overbearing, or you may be too strict. And that's okay if you think that. But we want to be able to know what our kids are being taught. We want to be able to teach them the Word of God. We want to be able to teach them about Jesus. We want to be able to teach them the ways of God and to raise them like that. And that's how we wanted to give them that firm foundation of the Lord, and then be able to turn them loose when they're older. We say that we homeschool year by year. So if it works for us, we will continue to homeschool. And if it doesn't, we will look at other options. So we know that we may get to middle school and high school, and we may consider them going to public school. But we want to be able to know that they are firmly planted whenever we do launch them out into the world, and that we know what they have been taught. We know that they have been, firmly rooted in the Word. And that is the most important thing to us as parents, that if you know God and you know Him as your Savior, and that's the most important thing in life, no matter what else you do. And so we want to make sure that they have what they need in the Word and being taught through us, that they can be firmly planted in God and come to a saving knowledge of Him as a young kid. Hopefully, we are still praying for that for our kids, and not to say that you have to have that in order to be saved or anything like that. But we just felt like we wanted to be the ones that influence them and as young kids. And so another reason why we wanted to homeschool is because we wanted to tailor their education to them. We want to move them along at their own pace. We want them to be able to kind of learn at their own pace, go along, not to be forced along, not to be taught a test, not to be taught certain things. We want them to experience things. We want them to learn all things, not just what is on the end of the year test at the end of the year, and make sure that they pass it so that their county looks good. And so we just wanted to be able to make sure that if they didn't get left behind, if they were having any problems. And not to say that teachers nowadays don't focus on their kids in their classrooms, but when you're 20 to 1 or plus, it's hard to give individual attention to kids. And in all honesty, our homeschool day really only takes about 4 hours. So there's, have all that time away from at school, and they're having to sit still, and they're having to I don't know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, they're having to just be taught to sit still, take this test, do this paperwork, do this, do that. And we didn't want that for them. We wanted them to be able to kind of learn on their own, teach them what is important, like reading and math, and be able to go at their own pace. So if they're struggling, we could slow down a little bit. If they're excelling, we could go skip some stuff and keep going, and have that capability to do that. And we also want them to thrive. Not to say that you can't thrive in a school setting, but to be able to thrive and just to have freedom at home, to be able to have fun and do things, and to make school fun, and for them to just have a love of learning. Because I think you need to be a lifelong learner. You don't need to stop learning just because you're turned 18 and you're done, or you graduated from college and woohoo, got the degree and I'm finished. We learn new things every day. So I think the thing that we need to do for our kids when they're young is to teach them how to learn. And so we wanted to be able to do that, is to instill a love of learning and for them not to hate school. I do have one, and the oldest one does not really like to do schoolwork. So we have to figure out different ways and be creative on getting him to still learn and stay on track. But yet he's also, can do his own thing. He's very active. He likes to do stuff with his hands. And so we do a lot of his schoolwork that way. Not so much writing it all down. The next thing, I think I kind of mentioned it a little bit, is flexibility. We wanted the flexibility of not being tied to a school year. So when my husband is off work, we can take the kids and go on vacation. And we don't have to go in the 2 months that school is out. Or we could go and do things in other times of the year and didn't have to worry about our kids missing school and falling behind. And it's just a good fit for our family and our dynamic, and our kids aren't having to get up at 5:30 in the morning to get on a bus to go to school. They're having to stay in school for 8 hours and then, have to come home and do homework and all of that. And we have just found that they are thriving, that they're doing well, and they have more outdoor time. That was another thing, is they have more outdoor time, they have more time to play and to just be kids. I feel like nowadays kids are having to grow up a whole lot faster than I even did as when I was their age. And so we feel like it just gives them time to just be a kid, just to run, just to play, just to have not to worry about things. And so those are kind of our top reasons of why we homeschooled, or homeschooling. And I'm sure there's more that I missed. And if I asked my husband before I did this video, he might chime in and give a few more. But those were just kind of our main reasons of why we homeschool. So if you have any questions about homeschooling, please leave those in the comments below. I am not an expert. Like I said, I'm only going into my 4th year, but I would be glad to help you out, and give you some suggestions and just kind of some experience of things that have worked for us and things that haven't. But every family is unique. Every family is different. Your family doesn't look like mine. My homeschool does not look like yours, and it should not. It should be tailored to your own kids. But anyway, we're gonna have a lot more planning homeschool type videos coming up. There should be a curriculum video coming soon. We are just 2 weeks away from starting school, so I hope to be able to kind of log our school year this year and kind of do some videos of what we do and how we do things. So like I said, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And if you aren't following us on Instagram, please do that, because I post daily there most of the time. That is Nina_@Danina Farms. And I hope to see you there. Y'all have a good day. Bye.